Welcome to another episode of Young Entrepreneurs with the Green Roof team. My name is Nelson Fernandez, and we're here today with Riggs Eckelberry. How are you doing today?
Nelson, I'm doing great, and it's really so great to be on your show. I love your mission and what you're trying to do there.
For the past 2-3 years now, I've been working for a liquefied natural gas company, so we try and do as much work as we can on site, especially when it comes into playing with the surrounding water areas. Like, for example, there's a swamp-like area nearby that was destroyed many years ago, but then the facility, we went in and put in the money to be able to revitalize it. And now we make sure it's maintained because we want to make sure that we keep the public happy. It's near beaches, but then also it's our more so like responsibility to make sure we keep the area better. So it's amazing work, and I'm excited to keep on hearing about it, especially how it affects the local areas. My cousin actually lives in Fort Lauderdale, and anytime I visit him, we never drink out the tap. We always have
exactly.
Water or jugs.
I know, it's pretty sad. But it sounds like you have a good situation where you are, but it's unfortunately not the rule. The rule is that there's, like Fort Lauderdale has these problems with sewer mains breaking and poop ending up on the lawns and all kinds of stories, and the water quality. So that you can invest in an oil well, right? And you get royalties. You can't do that with a water system. You can't invest in a water system. And we thought that was really strange, because if the water industry needs money, well, why don't we open it up to regular investors to invest in? And so that's what we did. It's something called water on demand. And basically, if a business wants a water system, they get it. They just start paying by the gallon, just like they did with the city. And then the investor gets a royalty, and people love investing in water much more than in oil. I mean, they think it's great, right? Because it's sustainable. We're raising money very quickly on that to specifically pay for these water as a service type projects.
So then once an industry or area, they use a water treatment system, does it stay within the utility company? So then are you sending the clean water back to the utility company?
Correct. The utilities are perfectly happy to get treated water back, So they just don't want the dirty water. You talk about sustainability. You know that Israel recycles almost 90% of its water. The second in the world is Spain at 20%. The US, 1%. Now, the reason for it is a design reason. None of these, we have older water systems that were designed. Israel designed everything post-World War II, right? That's when they were created.
Quite recent compared to the Americas and Europe.
Right. It's kind of like the same way we're stuck with old phone lines, right? So here we have old water systems that only go one way. Like I used to live in LA, and if you flush your toilet in Beverly Hills, the water goes all the way down to the ocean. It's treated and it goes in the ocean. It's clean, but it doesn't go back to Beverly Hills. It's over. But if you're in Beverly Hills and you treat it yourself, you can keep reusing it, right? And so that's where the recycling can occur, is at the point of use. Now, the infrastructure doesn't have all that load. It's been unburdened, and the users have control. And by the way, water rates are inflating at a rate 3 times the rate of normal inflation. So as it is, it's a really bad situation that hopefully we can help mitigate, but also return a good investment that's inflation friendly to the investor. So all in all, OriginClear is providing an inflation friendly way to invest in an asset, water, which is very beneficial, and increases sustainability through promoting recycling and control of the process by the user. And we think that's the future. Not just in America, but in North America and the world eventually.
Amazing. So touching upon more the financial side of water on demand.
Yes.
How does your company be able to generate revenue?
Well, I'll give you a good example. Used to be you bought Microsoft Office for like $130 one time, boom. Now you pay for it like $19 a month. And if you do the math, you're paying more, right? Over time. But you're getting a better product. You've got the OneDrive, the cloud, you've got real-time everything. Microsoft Office it's a live managed product, right? And so you don't mind spending that money because, you're doing all kinds of cool things in there, and all of a sudden some feature shows up, boop, and that is what we're trying to bring to water. In other words, moving from here's your water system, have fun, goodbye, to here's a service. We're going to take care of your water, and you won't have to worry. You don't have experts. We'll just make sure it runs and make sure through remote management that the proper treatment's done. And you just pay us, X amount per gallon on a long-term contract, and everybody's happy.
So it's more of a subscription purchase where you have continual maintenance available and services than just a one-time, here you go.
I was talking to a brewery owner, and literally while I was talking to him, this guy shows up, and who are you? Oh, I'm the guy. Your chiller showed an alert on our network, and I've come to fix it. The brewer didn't even know it was broken, and the guy shows up to fix it. That's called a service. So all his chillers were being handled by the firm under contract, and he didn't have to worry about it. It's like, no, you know what? That's fine. They got it. This really allows you to focus on your core business. And I think at the end of the day, the more you can do that and delegate all the things that are not core focus, the better you'll do.
So thinking about a company as a whole, how do you go about ensuring that the areas of the company that you're not well versed in is accessible?
Bill Gates once said, try to hire people who are smarter than you. And that is the case, obviously smarter in their specialty, right? So I have a COO who is much smarter than me in operations, and I have a CFO who is much smarter than me in finance, and so forth and so on. So we started doing well when I started getting good people around me who I didn't have to tell them what to do. They're like, okay, hey, Riggs, I just figured this whole thing out. We're this. I'm like, great, carry on, right? It's almost a synchronicity concept, right? 2018, we were like running out of conventional financing options. And then this amazing guy, Ken Berenger, showed up, who's now executive vice president and my co-strategist on Water on Demand. And somehow magically he became available, and it's been amazing ever since. This is true of our chief strategic officer and president, Andrea D'Agostini. Same thing. We hired him just a couple months ago, and he magically became available. So I think that you sort of progress your own organization to a point where it's the right fit for or the right person to come in. Get a good team. That's super important.
Definitely, I agree. How did you see changes in mission of the company and direction you were going?
Well, this company, Nelson, was built in the public markets. It's kind of how we got ourselves funded. But during the 14 years we've been in business, the over-the-counter market, the penny stock market, has really gone down the drain because there's been a lot of abuses. A lot of people have taken people for a ride, and so we've made that our big goal now is get on NASDAQ. There's certain requirements, and we have a roadmap to get to them. I think that is the most critical thing we could do is to be a NASDAQ company and really define this new water as a managed service concept for the marketplace and be a market leader, sort of be the Amazon of water. And that to me is we got to do it. We got to move up to that level. We have a superb investor base, great team. We got the right business model, good technologies. At this point, it's just work night and day, and we'll get there, right?
What are some ways that your company moves forward to be able to invite new investors, new clients in?
I think now it's moving more like, it's an attractive concept of water like an oil well and the investability and so forth, and making it a cool new thing for investors to do. That now we just need to get a lot of visibility for it. Just get a lot of, and we don't care if they're going to invest. We just want people to like the concept and be interested. And that will build its own, virality in a way, right? Because people use word of mouth, et cetera. That's really our next step is to not be the best kept secret. We're pretty good. I mean, we have good visibility and so forth, but I'm talking about, Water on Demand becoming a word of the business world, shall we say, right? That needs to happen because then we can really start to take our ideas and share them. And we don't want to hold on to it all, right? We want to like, hey, let's have a bunch of water companies doing this. Let's make it a big thing that that is done a lot. One company doesn't change an industry, 20 companies don't, but 100 or 1,000 companies, that starts to make change. And so that's really where, by having a tremendous amount of visibility and documented wins, investors winning at making good, generational money from royalties, et cetera, then it starts to all kind of become like something people are excited about. And the word gets around, and then you become hopefully a household word in the business investing world.
Amazing. Sounds great. Well, thank you again, Mr. Eckelberry, for joining me today and discussing Clear Origin, sustainability, and technology.
Nelson, it's been such a pleasure. I wish you luck with your project. Sounds like you got a good thing going. And let's check in on each other in a few months and see how we're doing. Peace out. Thank you.